You are now listening to Redefine Gospel Sounds.
Yes, guys, what's good? You're here with another episode of RGS, but you know how we do. It's a new episode. You got TAKE7. It's actually real. We got some guys of us in the studio. Guys, introduce yourself.
Say no more. Hi guys, my name is Fiyin, also known as F Major. Never mind. That's me, man.
I'm Jotham. You know, that's about it. Literally still working on the tag name. It's loading. Wait me.
Cool. We are all big fans, big lovers of music, and TAKE7. We're gonna take this time literally just to talk about what's going on in the scene within the niche, things that we like, things that we might not like, things that we want to see a shift in, and we're just gonna chop it up basically. So
that's what's up.
That is literally what's up. We're gonna get straight into it. Before we do, what did you guys kind of like grow up on? Like, what are you guys is like back in the day when you guys were growing up? Like, what was like your go-to like?
Hey, it depends though. Because if you're asking about my mum and dad's car, that's Yinka Yefele. But
for real, man.
Me on my ones, hey. I'd say a lot of, obviously when I was younger, a bit of pop, a bit of Afro beats here and there at the parties.
Yeah. You definitely underestimated the pop fam.
Bro, literally pop was there still. Even some house music, if I'm being completely honest with the guys. But yeah, I'd say a lot of that. And a lot of church music, because obviously Christian family and whatnot.
Praise the Lord.
Praise him.
Nah, like same here actually. Like I would say a bit of Afrobeat here and there, but not too tough. I was listening to Afrobeat on the low in my house actually. My mom did not know I was listening to P Square in my room. She didn't know, but I was listening to like P Square, the Katy Perry's, the Rihanna and Drake. Say your name or whatever. Oh no, what's my name? I wasn't allowed to play that out loud at home. Oh. Michael Jackson, I was listening to Michael Jackson as well.
Was it banned?
It was banned in my house. I wasn't allowed to shed a tear when he died. I wasn't, bro.
Oh, you didn't watch the funeral?
No, when he died, I went to primary school. Bear said that.
But yeah, that's the music I was listening to. Like Yinka Yefele as well. A bit of Labaja, but that was pretty much it, man.
Fairs. Cool. You got the drop. We're going to get the junior drop now. We've got things here. We've got TAKE7, so we've got 7 topics out here. We're going to get through them. We're going to see how we feel. I'm just going to go from there, innit?
Yes.
So, how do you want to do this all alive? The first one is, we are in a time where lots of people are coming back to the fore. We've had Kojo Funds that's even just come back now. We've had different people that are coming back now.
Blood of Jesus.
Before all of that, we even had us that even came back. And it was, you said it's crazy. Quite frankly, it was scary.
Yeah.
From you guys, I just want to know your drop just in terms of navigating the scene now, because it's like, Hus has come out and the official position of this podcast, I'm going to speak. And maybe not everybody might be of that opinion. Not everybody's going to be of that opinion. But the official podcast opinion, he has done in madness. And now, obviously, to counter that, like, guys are coming out saying, J Hus is kind of flopped, but I'm here going to come and save Summer. Like, this is a Christian J Hus. Guys, what are we saying? Because I don't know, like, what's your thoughts on it, fam?
I literally got asked this when we were doing some content, but I'd say we don't need alternatives of artists.
No,
we don't need that. Like,
obviously, Christian J Hus.
We don't need a Christian J Hus. We just need we just need good Christian music. All this like, I'm the Christian Kalani, I'm the Christian so and so and so and so, bro. Like, just make your own music, like do your own thing, and then everyone's gonna like take you in. Because if you're saying, you're the Christian so and so, and you don't live up to their standard, you're gonna look a bit
crazy.
Not even crazy. It's going to be a bit embarrassing for you, really and truly. And work on your own sound. We don't want multiple J Husses. We want unique and creative content. That's what I want personally. I don't know about you, man, but that's what I'm looking for.
No, like I completely agree with you, because like for me, it's a thing where if you're meant to be trusting in the true creator, Jesus Christ, you can't now take someone else's creation and just run with that. Like,
There's a word
actually, he's a creator for a reason. Like he's gonna create from the jump. Like, get your own beat, get your own thing. Do your own thing. Like, I don't need you to be Christian anything. Like, I don't need a Christian Burna Boy. Like, I would just listen to Burna Boy. Like,
well, you know that one the guy on the TikTok that said, "I need Jesus and Bible."
Yeah, like it's
Jesus and my
enough,
Bible.
man. It's enough. Because even when I listen to the song and you use that beat, I'll be so for real. I'm singing last in my head. I'm not singing I need Jesus and Bible. Like, be for real.
My mind isn't focused on things above, bro.
It's not. Because as soon as I hear the beat, I'm just like, oh, fairs. Yeah. Like, it's just not a thing, but yeah.
What then kind of like shift things in terms of the fact that like there's no denying. Sorry, that's sorry.
Pardon the pun.
Right.
Sorry, not gonna lie. 2K, 5K management. So, shut after. But like, is this not a coincidence that people listen to us just because he has like that specific sound? So I think what I want to ask you guys is kind of like, are people or like artists, are they wrong for now trying to hit that sound? Because it's like, if that's what held so many ears in the first place, then like, is that now not going to be the same things that like bring ears in terms of like Christian music?
No, I don't think so. I think people took in Hus more because his thing was his own thing. You know what I mean? Like, there's been so many duplicates of J Hus over the years, and where are they now?
We don't know their names. We
Bro,
just call them duplicates.
Literally, like millions. Has his own flow. Bear man have tried to copy their flow. Where is he? Where are they?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do your own thing, and it will show in whatever you do. You know what I mean? People will take you in a lot more. People respect you a lot more, and you're more likely to cut through in the scene because you're a unique artist.
Yeah.
Fair. Major anything like that.
No, like I generally agree in a sense where it's like, I will respect you more for being yourself. Like,
literally.
I shouldn't have to be like, you are this person's like copycat to like mess with your music. Like, at the end of the day, it's a thing where I will respect it and probably take it in more when I see that it's yours and it's your lane and you're driving in it. Like, yeah.
First, so we're trying to shift away from the Christian hustles and stuff, guys. We just want to be you in it, like you know the creator, like just go create, man.
Go create, man.
I'll support. I'll love if it's good. I'll love it. I'll support either way in it.
Yeah.
And I think at the end of the day, I think it's so important but I think it's important to remember that people that want to be Christian versions of others or want to make Christian remixes of songs, like I think it's all from a place of like they want to bring ears like to the kingdom kind of thing.
I hear that.
Which,
I hear
like,
it.
I'm not gonna lie, I hear because like again, like, I'm saying this from a point of like me personally, I can't. Well, I don't know how to make music like that, innit? So it's like you that you're doing it, innit? Like more
Respect,
grace,
respect.
like respect, more grace. But it's like cool. Like if we're gonna do that, then like it's just to think about like how it is that you're gonna go about doing that kind of thing, because you don't wanna. I guess you don't want to like turn people away, kind of.
No, and for me, it's like a thing where is that your plan forever, like to just be the. Like obviously, like guys, I'm not trying to violate, but do you get what I'm trying to say? Like it's a thing where if that's what you're starting off with to get the attention, to get the people to you, and then you start to do your own thing and then create your own. Yeah, that's cool. But if your plan is forever to be the Christian J Hus, maybe you should go back to the drawing board.
100%. You're just setting yourself up to live in
you're
someone
setting
else's
yourself
shadow,
up to fail at the end
and
of the
that's
day,
crazy, bro.
No, even we're gonna stay on that kind of sentiment. If we now pivot to that Afrogospel now, because it's like you said that if a lot of people are starting off, I don't know what I said, man, are doing things like that. But if you talk about like how people have started off, for example, on Afrogospel, but that might not be their wave. Same way that people are starting off on like the Christian J Hus thing, but that might not be their wave. So that if people are starting off in the Afrogospel thing, and that might not be their wave, it's a bit like there's a bit of a tension there. So even in terms of the whole Afrogospel thing, it's a very
sticky one.
Some say sticky,
it's even the stickiest. It's even the stickiest.
It's a pattern. It's a very important topic because obviously that's the one that it's definitely bringing the most ears right now. It's definitely doing the most. And even like when I like review like content for like Christian music and stuff like that, like on TikTok at the moment, like the ones on the Christian side, the ones that always get like the most traction are like the Afrogospel stuff, because it's just hitting right now. For you guys, what is it that you see that you're liking? First of all, we'll go there. What do you see that you're liking first of all? Why do you think that it's just hitting with so many people?
I'll say like for me, because as an Afrobeat lover, the reason why I would say the Afrogospel scene is kind of like hitting for me personally is because there's something about the beats, the rhythms
100,
that get people just want to dance. Like as Jotham said, it gingers your spirit at the end of the day. Like that like whatever it is, it's gonna ginger your spirit.
RGS playlist, Afrobeats playlist, spiritual ginger.
That playlist there,
spiritual ginger. Sorry.
Like generally, like it gingers
eats.
your spirit. So of course, there's a thing where people are gonna be like, oh yeah, let me hop on the Afrogospel thing because they know that it's gonna grab the attention of people, and the music. Because a lot of the time when it comes to Afrobeats, do you listen to the lyrics? No, sometimes you just take in that beat. Actually, you firm whatever. Because Rema, like he didn't. Okay, sorry, but he didn't speak in English for a lot of his lyrics. Like he doesn't speak in English.
They're asking him what he's saying. He says that he doesn't.
Yeah, he says that he doesn't know.
Just vibe.
But the beat takes you somewhere. So it's like that's the same thing for me with Afrogospel. It's like the beat is what's gonna grab my attention, and then I will take in the lyrics from there. But it's the beat that actually took me in first, and then I'll be like on the bus or something. I'll be like, wait, that bar was hard, right? And it's edifying. Say no more. Like, do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, yeah.
I hear that.
Even for you, in fact, sorry for I don't need Afro gospel artists or any Afro gospel songs like that you can think to mind that like you're liking or that you've liked recently.
What's that
all.
one? That Limo Blaze one.
Limo Blaze.
I can't lie, yeah.
Limo Blaze?
I think my housemate must have been playing it one time and I said, yo. I asked him shamelessly. More time I'm the kind of guy that would Shazam it under the table. But I said, yo, let me ask live and direct for this one. Because that one, I put it on the road.
Because I know Oluwa's involved.
Yeah, man.
At the end of the day, when Oluwa's involved, you'll see, literally, them man have Oluwa involved for real.
For real.
And you can see the fruits of their labour. Couple man, it's not the same. But you just gotta do your own thing, and every single time you do your own thing, you're clear. Like those guys, who do they sound like? They don't sound like anyone. They sound like themselves, and it's good eats every single time, man.
Okay, like off of that though, I have a question, in the sense where they don't sound like anyone. Like Limo Blaze is doing his thing, cool, but like so now there's like other Afrogospel. Like, you know, the people that do like the Omo Baba and all of those things, they are a lot of them get their inspiration from people like Zlatan and whatever. And there's been this whole debate that, oh, you're just actually doing Zlatan's ad-libs over your song and you're just, that's it. They're just saying that, like, that's what I'm trying to say. You're being like, some people would say that, oh, he's just being Zlatan, like, at the end of the day. So what do you actually think about that side of Afrogospel? Like, the side that I guess gets the inspiration from like Zlatan, Burna Boy, but it's not that they're necessarily a copycat, but you can tell that the inspiration is from there. Like, do you like that type of Afrogospel?
I can't. I do, you know, but I don't think it's like taking influence from one person. I think it's just taking influence from like the culture of Nigeria, because like Zlatan and then, man, there's bare artists that are kind of on that same wave. So I feel like, of course, if you're down with that culture in Nigeria, the music you produce is going to be that same kind of music. Like, I don't mind that on my brother tune. I can't lie, bro. I'll spin it.
I spin it.
Even I do spin it.
I think I've heard my mum spinning it.
My mum was the one that put me on.
Church barbecue put me on.
It goes off. I usually brush it still, but this one she put in front of me, in the kitchen, bro. I've been spinning it.
Because it's music, bro. It's real.
You literally want to say bro.
Yeah, bro. Literally.
Yeah, man.
But no, I think what is so good as well is just the fact that it's like, when like the beats, like when like you were saying like the rhythms, everything, when that is like set up well, like it actually gives you a chance to now like take in the lyrics and what it is that they're saying. I think even like the Omo Baba like literally says like one of the lyrics is like I am I'm seated in his glory. Sorry, I was trying to do the melody. Quite like will be a bit rap still. I host.
There were no vocals.
No, I don't know. It's a bit tech still. But like things like that, like it then gives you that platform to actually think, okay, cool. Like what is it that they're actually saying? And I think that's where it's good. But I think the attention is when like, you know, I guess maybe like you're relying on, I don't know. Either maybe you might be relying on like the Afrogospel sound to be the thing that like pushes you. Because for example, like I don't know what you guys think, but I don't know. Sometimes it's the case where people have said that they've heard Afrogospel artists and it's like I'm not gonna lie, like you're a worshipper kind of thing. So it's like what, like where, like where's like the, is there tension there? Like what, like how do you guys see that?
That one there.
And is it fat like is it calm for them? Like, is it calm like, or like what's you guys' take on it? As you guys that both like love Afrobeats, both love gospel, both love Afrogospel by default.
Yeah, for me, I simply sum it up as, please don't kill me, but it's attention seeking. Like in the sense where you're literally just trying to get the attention from the Afrobeat scene, and that's why you've hopped on it. But you haven't been called to sing on Afrobeat like at all, and it's like it's not that I can tell sometimes when it's forced, but sometimes it's just like, what's going on right now? Actually, I'm going to press skip because this song isn't giving. Like, I should hear you with the keys and the pads, not with the log drum. I shouldn't hear the log drum on your track right now. And it's just like, for me, it's just, you're not being true to who God has called you to be, and that's all that matters. Like, at the end of the day, it's not about me or my opinion, but it's about God's opinion. And it's like, if you've been called to like a certain thing in the gospel industry, don't now feel pressured by, I guess, society to feel like you have to go down the Afrogospel route, because if God has called you to worship, he will give you what you need to flourish in worship. 100%. So don't feel like you have to go to Afrobeat now, because that's now how you're gonna have to deal with the backlash of your Afrobeat track not being good and maybe some embarrassment here and there. But if you just went down the worship route that you were meant to, God might have taken you so far. Literally. Do you get it? So
there's nothing wrong with worship.
There's nothing wrong with worship.
And the worship bag. That worship bag.
It's heavy bag,
get me on a worship track bag. Now.
It's a
that
heavy
worship
bag.
Bag is in, bro. Mav City, them man there.
It's a heavy bag.
You know what I mean? People are crying to your music in your room.
It's taking them abroad.
People are crying to your music in their room, and you want to be doing Afrogospel, bro. Be serious, man.
Serious.
I think it's just being so tapped into like what you believe the Holy Spirit is saying to you in that time and kind of leading, because you actually don't know like who you're not being, because if we just speak about all of this as ministry, which it is, like, you don't know who you're blocking from hearing the things that God's put in your heart on a different melody to the one that you would do. That you genuinely don't know. And I think it's just so important that people do that. This is, as an aside, it's actually a separate point, but still in the whole Afrogospel thing, I just deeped it now, but it's so interesting where some of the earlier like Afrobeat songs, like, they're still sprinkling that gospel bit in there. So like, even when we think about like one of the biggest ones ever, like Ojo Legba, like, just think like towards the end, like Wizkid just talking about like praying for his mom, all them kind of things, like Olamide with like Eledami, or like them ones, like talking about, bro. And it's like, fam, I'm not gonna lie, if these guys were doing that, like, I might not necessarily want you to do that kind of thing. Or that like, I see those things as examples of like, because they're lived experiences, and that's actually just naturally just causing you to draw on God kind of thing. And it's like, that is something that I see as like the most like authentic example kind of thing you get. So when people are now from the other perspective, and it's like, you're from the perspective of like, maybe the hardship is still there, but it might not necessarily be there in the same way. So the way that you relate to it, what you produce musically will come out differently. You know what I'm trying to say? So I think that parallel will that difference, like, is interesting still. It's interesting still. Fair enough. I just, guys, what if you do have the bangers, the ones that have the bangers, keep them coming. Because even Spirit of Prophecy, they even had another one, but I forgot what it's called. They're on a roll right now. They're on a roll. It was slapping.
Oh, nice.
I've already said it. African gospel stocks have gone up in the past year, like French, like the Congolese gospel has been like,
I haven't touched into that one still. Which one is that?
Oh, don't worry. After this thing, yo, don't worry.
Oh my god. I wish I could speak French. I feel like it's no longer tongues that is the language of the heavens. It's French at this point, because that thing takes you. Oh god.
I was rooming with my boy at one comp last month, and he must have. Like, I was shouting, but when the speakers are loud, I was hearing the thing. Man, I said, "What's that melody?" I said,
"What is that melody?"
Bro, but no, they're doing their thing. That's fine. We're actually covering these topics still. I want you guys to discuss 6 marks. No, it's not 6 marks. But you guys are going to discuss this statement. There are too many rappers and not enough Christians. Do you agree, and why?
It's a bit of a sticky one still. Not much light can be shed on that.
There are too many
rappers. That's what's been posed to us. Too many rappers, not enough Christians. Do you guys agree?
Can you even elaborate on that one? Can you elaborate?
I feel like so I think with context, I think it's just very much like, you know, and we'll even tie this to the another like topics that question, but it's like people that perhaps, you know, it might be rapping, but like perhaps like what's in the content, it might not be. The content might not necessarily be varied kind of thing. So like the content might just be like, obviously we'd like to hope that your bars are inspired by scripture, but like the bars are like literally just like physical, literal scripture. It's like how many like Bible verses can you get into a 16 kind of thing. So yeah, if we take that into the context, so too many rappers, not enough Christians. What is your take on that statement? But people want to know.
If you're just throwing bare scriptures into your song, it might as well be a sermon.
You
know what I mean? You might as well get up there on Sunday at Elim and give a word, bro. Like, I don't want to hear 12 different scriptures in your song. I'll be honest, like, not that being overtly Christian in your music is bad, but like, there's a way to go about it. All this, Jeremiah 20:11. I'm not trying to hear that. I want to enjoy listening to what you're saying, like, because if you think about it, you don't need to reference scripture to make a Christian song. You know, you can literally, like we were saying, even with the Afrobeats, you can literally just slip something in there and it's like, wow.
And it really makes you think.
Literally, it really makes you think, do you know what I mean? You don't need the whole, you just go about it in a nuanced way, I would say.
Yeah.
And it's not even nuanced at this point. It's just the way you should be as a Christian artist. It's not a scripture, thing anymore. Or it should have never been that.
Yeah. I even think it's like a reflection of your relationship with Christ at the end of the day. Because it's like, if you were one of those people where you know your day-to-day life, you have that relationship with God, you have that freedom in Christ, that you wouldn't feel the need to overly make your stuff religious. Like, you know the way, I don't know how to explain it, like in the sense where when we say Christianity and relationships with Christ, we always say it's religion. It's not religion over relationship, it's relationship over religion. And I feel like that's been spewed into the music industry, where it's like their music is now overly religious. I don't actually see that relationship where it's like, that's what should flow. Like, for example, like, let's say there's an R&B singer and they want to sing about the love of God. Like, you don't need to now come and tell me John 3:16 or all of these scriptures, but just be creative and like let that love actually flow in your words, rather than just telling me that God loves you. Like, do you get what I'm trying to say?
There's literally been songs, fam. Love never ceases. Shout out, fam. Shout out, Marie, fam. There's guys that
literally. That's what I'm saying. So it's like, generally, it's a thing where you don't have to show me scripture or da-da-da. I should just be able to see it, not even just in your music, but in the way you live your life, that you're a Christian. And it's like, I do hear that whole, there's too many rappers, not enough Christians, because at the end of the day, if you are a Christian, like, if you're letting the Christianity flow through you, you wouldn't have to tell me you're Christian or show that you're Christian in your bars. You wouldn't have to force it. It would just be natural.
Literally.
I think to that, just to pause though, I think there was a further question that the people wanted you to kind of speak to, and it was that, are we kidding ourselves by saying that we're doing Christian rap for evangelism? So how well does it, or how well do you guys believe, or does it speak to evangelistic purposes?
That's a good question.
The thing is, I generally do think it does work as a form of evangelism for sure. Like, it could just come up in your recommended by Spotify, and that's how you're just deep in the words and you're just taking it in. You're like, rah, who's this person's talking about, or this person's rapping about or singing about? But it's just a thing where it's like, it just gets to a point where it can be under false pretenses. Like, the song that you write, like, I don't know how to explain it, but Christian rap, I've just seen that some people do it because they think, oh yeah, there's attention, or there's something I can gain from just saying I'm a Christian rapper or making a Christian tune. So the intention behind their song was never to reach to the souls of people. But there are people who generally, when they're writing their music, they're asking God, how can I glorify you, and how can I bring people to you through my words? And I feel like that's when you can tell the difference in the music, and you can tell the difference like through the impact as well. Because it's like, if I've gone to my like private space with God and I'm like, God, please give me inspiration right now to write something that will bring people to you, and it won't even be a thing about me or anything like that, and you see that in the music, that can generally bring people to Christ. But then when you're just saying that, oh, I'm just going to become a Christian rapper because I can become a Christian one, or because my mum needs me to be a Christian rapper and I can't just be a rapper, you can generally see that it works as evangelism. But when the intentions are wrong behind what you're writing, that's when it's a flop at the end of the day.
I want to pull something back to you guys, because like I think when we think about someone like, so I'm gonna bring Bible. Sorry, when we think about someone like Paul, just speaking about, as he did like that many false prophets in his day, and it's one of those ones where he was like, not gonna lie, like if the word is being preached with ill motive or not, it's still getting preached either way. So like, how do we kind of see it, and even kind of like to swing it to your side as well from that, how do we see it in terms of like when we talk about a rap, like can it still have that same impact kind of thing, or do you think that like it's still as important as kind of like what Major was saying in terms of the difference? Because it's a tech one. It's a tech one to get to grips with.
It depends on the person that's listening, I'll be honest, because like more time you're not going to know the artist. Well, even if you're hearing Christian music, you're just going to assume their intention is to spread the gospel. So I feel like if they are spitting the gospel and it's like catching people's attention, it might bring people to Christ. And it's not like they're using that rap music as the anchor of their faith in it. So I feel like it can bring people to Christ. By the end of the day, it's not really... It might edify them.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say...
But my thing is like, it can backfire so badly.
You think so?
I think because I've seen... It's not that I've seen it backfire, but like... how do I... I'm not allowed to name drop, am I?
That's crazy.
No, really.
You can't even beat that one out. That's crazy.
Production.
Yeah, sorry.
It's not
Without name dropping, there have been groups of people that have made Christian rap in order to bring people to Christ, the kids of the streets to Christ.
Yeah.
But what it's actually done is, now that, let's say I've come to Christ because of that song, and you are now the people I see as the people of Christ.
I do understand that.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Actually.
It's now going to affect how I view Christ, how I view my religion. Because it's like, you brought Christ to me through this music, and now I'm looking at your life, it's not representing that.
I hear that.
Or the things you're saying aren't actually the actual representations of Christ. Where do we go from there? It's edifying me, but it's edifying what you're saying is actually incorrect at the end of the day. Or do you get what I'm saying? It's not biblically sound or whatever. So it's like, I'm being brought up in the wrong way, but I think I'm being edified. So it's going to backfire at the end of the day.
I hear that though, but how many of these Christian rappers actually have massive influence over their listeners?
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's not everybody that you're listening to their music on a Saturday and you're going to their church on a Sunday.
Hello.
Like,
real.
More time you're not going to hear of them outside of Spotify.
True. I feel like that one just speaks to like the general like artist basics in terms of like going out, like building your fan base and that kind of thing more than anything else. Literally. Because the same way that like a secular artist goes and like their first remit is to go out, build their fan base so that they have their little market to work with and sell stuff to ultimately. It's the same way. In fact, it's exactly the same way that Christian rappers do as well. So I guess it's that as well. That kind of speaks to how well they can kind of like build their base and all that kind of stuff as well. So I think it's interesting. But something that I literally just came into my mind now, before we kind of pivot to the last topic or two, is just the fact that like, it's even a question rather. Do you guys think the Christian market or like Christian listeners, do you think that we are overly picky? Do you think that we're a hard market to make music for?
I would say no and yes.
No.
But I'm more to the side of no.
Okay.
Because we've come here and said we don't like the Christian J Hus and the Christian Kalani but a lot of people out there actually market like that and it succeeds for them. And it's like no one's picky about the fact that you're being like that. And I think we're coming to a point now where it's like we're realizing that we're allowing just regular meaty things to slide in the Christian in the Christian like music industry. We're literally like realizing these things now. But it's a thing where back in the day with gospel, all you needed was 4 chords. That C major, F major, G major,
That's why
and
we
maybe
call her
an
F
A
major, man.
minor.
She knows the music stuffs, man.
And maybe an A minor and
Real.
3 lines.
Real.
And that song will carry you forever. Like RCCG, boom, they would run that song and it's cool. Like, I don't think we're picky like that, but it's a thing where we've now started to realize that we actually need we need more to it. So that's why I say no and yes, because it's now like a thing where we're starting to realize that there's more to add to our gospel, there's more to add to our music. But overall, I would say we're not that picky, you know.
And I agree, man. Like, how picky are we when it comes to worship music? Like, let's be real. More time. A lot of these worship songs, last 5 minutes of the song.
Dunson says 3 sentences,
literally,
bro.
I'm hearing the same line over and over again, and it's still gingering my spirit. It's still moving me. Do you know what I mean? But I feel like when you're marketing yourself as a Christian rapper, we're gonna expect the same standards of just a normal rapper. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, just because you're Christian doesn't mean you're gonna get away with
anything.
Literally, you have to have that same. What's the word I'm at? Je ne sais quoi. You know what I mean? You have to have that same je ne sais quoi as a real rapper. Like, flavor. I don't want to hear the same line over again on a rap song. Like, you can't get away with that. So I'd say, I wouldn't even say no, it's picky. I wouldn't say we're picky. I'd say it's just expectations of quality music.
Quality music. And that's not picky.
And that's the same standard for every artist.
Why is putting standards making something picky? Like, at the end of the day, we just want quality. And you should want quality because God calls you to excellence.
That's real though.
What?
That's real though.
That's the truth. So yeah.
Yeah, wrong on that side. I think the last thing to round off, we actually have been doing that at 7. Those that are the eagle ear da monkey. I know it's ad, but it's the ear today.
TAKE7.
You would have clocked.
You would have been clocking the intertwine, and I'm sure maybe we'll even do a fancy thing to even slap it on the screen. For those that even watching, we would just back. But I think the last one we wanted to touch on is the importance of worship, because we're saying this from the perspective of that we've been here. We're talking about our new Afrogospel and our R&B and our this and that and our gospel this and our gospel that. But I think sometimes it kind of causes us to kind of get carried away, or like to kind of neglect those like more traditional forms of worship. So for example, like just contemporary like worship music as we know it. So like, how do you guys feel in terms of like that balance, even for you guys personally, in terms of how you guys have found that journey and like where you sit with it now, how you feel about kind of like more traditional forms of like worship and like how important they are for you guys?
I used to be one of those kids that actually didn't like worship, and I would actually only listen to Afrogospel and Afro-rap, like Lecrae. Yeah, that's it. Lecrae and maybe some like, what's that band that did Igwe? Yeah. Midnight Crew.
Don't even get me started on the Midnight Crew. Yo, if you don't know about the Midnight Crew, get to know.
If you know about Midnight Crew, you should know about their Fuji one. Their Fuji song, that can take me away. But I used to be one of those people where I didn't really like.
So in the service, like, you liked praise, but you didn't rate worship.
Can't lie, used to be miss me of worship. No, God, no offense, but that's what I used to be.
It's just a thing where it's like, I'm so tired of the or the do. Like it just wasn't a thing for me. But as I got closer to God in my relationship, and I started to realize that worship is more than just the slow song. It's a representation of your life, and it's a sacrifice type thing. That's when I started to deep that, wow, like I've actually been neglecting an important part of my Christian walk with God. And it's a thing where in worship there's more space for hearing back, because when you're listening to Afro gospel or whatever, you're getting carried away with the rhythm, the rhyme, the da. So you're not actually maybe taking time to just stay in that moment or stay in that space. So as I got closer to God in my relationship, I started to realize that was important. So I would be one of those people that would definitely say, don't neglect the worship playlist.
And don't do that.
Don't neglect that playlist. Don't neglect it. Don't neglect that sound. It's a very important sound, and I feel like it's very important in our walk with God. So
can't lie, me, I'm the same as Fiyin. I tapped into worship music kind of recently. I go White Garment Church, so praise is big. Like when I used to get to worship, I used to be thinking, this is a snooze fest, man. No joke. Like I used to love praise. Like praise played in my house all the time. But I feel like recently, not recently, in the last like 2 years, I'd say, I've discovered that the importance of worship. Like all this new worship music, like it's real, man. I'll be honest. It can really allow you to I don't know how to put this into words properly, but I feel like worship music can just make you feel as though you're more connected to God, like you're in the presence of God a lot more. I feel like worship really affects like your heart posture, like all these other types of Christian music. While they might try, I feel like worship is still at the core of all of that. So I feel like if you sleep on worship music, you're sleeping on a big part of your relationship with God. You're sleeping on a big part of worship and veneration. So I feel like just try and tap in as much as you can. If you don't like it, like eventually you'll realize the importance of it, and then you'll like it a lot more. So I feel like everybody should see the importance in it, basically.
Yeah, generally, because just like quickly bouncing off of what you said, I've actually come to realize that with worship, it's more or less a thing of like presenting yourself to God in that worship, and like I've seen like praise is more like just thanking God, or like
Literally.
just doing a joyful dance.
Literally thanking
But
him for what
worship
he's
is very
done.
much presenting yourself as a living sacrifice to God. It's all about the heart posture. It's all about where you are in your relationship, and that connection of where you are and meeting where God is, and boom, that collision. But yeah, that's why I generally think it's an important
I like
part.
that.
Yeah, man.
That's some good spit. I think that's a good place to leave it. Guys, it's actually very real.
It's been very real.
It's actually been very, very real.
Literally.
To that end, feel free to chime in with your own comments. I'm sure some of you are even stirred up by what we have even said today, either one way or the other.
Please be stirred up.
Please. The place to send things to us. You will see us on at the RGS podcast on all platforms. That's Instagram and TikTok. Follow us there for literally everything. Not gonna lie,
follow.
there's barely anything that we're actually not doing these days.
Yeah,
We've got, if you want to be put on banging Afrogospel, UK rap, R&B, worship.
Keep on going.
I'm being serious.
I'll just have a playlist for that.
I'm being serious.
For
Get out those
everything.
playlists.
They have a playlist
Get
for
out those
that.
playlists.
I'm gonna be real.
Put your mum on as well.
Get tapped into those.
Yeah, man.
If you're listening on Spotify and Apple Music, my party people on the audio, give us 5 stars, because if you didn't rate this one, I know you're lying to yourself.
Please.
And if you're watching on the visuals, YouTube, stop right there. Just pause the video.
Please.
Take a.
I've never said this before. Like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah, stop.
And share.
Literally them ones. Like, comment, subscribe, share. I know everyone has that one friend that like needs to hear these ones. So
Yeah, man.
send that free to them. And I believe that has been the ish. So
Take 7.
this has been Take 7.
Take
seven,
7.
take
Take
seven,
7.
take
What,
7.
actually, or this not. This.
7.
Seven.
We'll work on it. Yeah, we'll work on
Guys,
it.
we're working
Throw your
on it.
sevens up, yo. Throw your sevens up.
Some productions are feeling it, but it's been real.
Take 7,
And
man.
yeah, it's been good vibes. So say less, don't stress. God bless.
Wow.
Peace, guys.
Peace out. Peace and love.
Peace out.
Shout out to my mum. And my dad.
That's a wrap, yo. We might keep in that shout to my mum. That's cute, man. Auntie can know that.
I forgot to shout the rest of them.
Boy. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Guys, we did it.
Good stuff.
I do like it actually.
Hard.
I do
You're good at
actually.
this, bro.
I do
You guys-
actually
you guys
quite
are
like
good,
this,
man.
to be
You guys
honest.
are good.